Imagine a garden where nothing is solid, where petals don't fall, they flicker in and out of being. A place where a single flower could be in 1,000 places at once and never leave its stem. That's not poetry, it's physics. Or maybe it's both. Somewhere out there, beyond the light of 1 billion stars, there might be a kind of life that doesn't know what here means. Because for them, here is always also there. It's a form of existence that doesn't bother with traveling through space, because space is just a suggestion, a lazy habit of the universe. Let yourself sink into that thought. Really, let go of the need to have one body, one place, one moment. What if you could be a cloud of possibility, drifting not through air, but through probability itself? The quantum garden isn't a place you visit. It's a state you become. We call it a garden, but it has no soil, no sunlight. It's more like a network of shimmering threads, each one a potential outcome. And the beings there, they don't walk among the threads. They are the threads. They exist as a chorus of possibilities, a melody of maybes that never collapse into a single note. You might wonder how such a thing could even be real, but reality is stranger than we give it credit for. Down at the smallest scales, particles don't have fixed positions. They're smeared out like a drop of ink in still water. A single electron can be in 2 places at the same time as long as nobody is watching. And if nobody is ever watching, maybe it stays that way forever. Now imagine a life form that evolved in that state. A creature that doesn't need to choose between being here or there. It simply is everywhere it could possibly be, all at once. Its consciousness is spread across light years, not by traveling, but by existing as a field of potential. It never arrives anywhere, because it never left. There's a kind of peace in that, isn't there? No rushing, no journey, just being in 1,000 places, all at the same quiet moment. The quantum garden hums with that stillness, a low, constant hum that is less a sound and more a presence. Like the background radiation of the universe, but softer. You could spend an eternity there, floating between the threads, watching a flower that is both blooming and not blooming. A tree that is tall and short, old and young, alive and never born. And the beings that tend this garden, they don't tend it at all. They simply are it. Their thoughts become the soil, their dreams become the light. But don't think of them as gods. They're not. They're just different. A different way of being. A way that doesn't require effort or movement or time. Time for them is another thread, another possibility. They can experience past and future the same way we experience left and right. So tonight, let yourself drift into that garden. Not as a visitor, but as a part of it. Let your thoughts become as soft as a quantum flutter. Let your body feel less like a thing and more like a suggestion. You are a cloud of potential. You are in many places, all of them calm, all of them safe, all of them asleep, and the garden breathes with you, in and out, in and out. The threads shimmer, the flowers flicker, and you are nowhere and everywhere. Just a beautiful possibility. Floating, finally free. And yet, there is more. More than floating, more than being a beautiful possibility. The garden itself, it has a memory. Imagine a place where every choice you never made still exists, where every path you didn't take is still glowing somewhere. That's the quantum garden. It's not a place you visit, it's a place you become. The creatures there, they don't have bodies like ours. They don't have skin or bones or breath. They are more like questions. questions that have learned to linger, questions that have learned to smile. You see, in this realm, being in two places at once isn't strange. It's natural. It's like how a thought can be here and there at the same time, how a memory can be both vivid and fading. These beings, they live in that in-between. They are the in-between. And they communicate, not with words, not with sound. They share their existence through resonance, like two tuning forks that hum together across a room. Except the room is the entire galaxy, maybe more. Let that sink in. A conversation that happens instantly across light years. No travel, no delay, just knowing, just being. They don't ask, "Where are you?" because the question doesn't make sense. You are everywhere you could possibly be, and nowhere you aren't. Some of these beings are old, incredibly old, older than our sun, older than the atoms that make up our planet. They have watched galaxies spin and fade. They have seen stars born and die. And they remember. They remember everything. But they don't hold on to it. They let it flow through them, like light through a prism. Each memory becomes a color. Each color a new possibility. You might wonder, how do they experience time? They don't. Not the way we do. For them, time is just another dimension of space, like height or width. They can look at their past the way we look at a photograph. They can see their future the way we see a distant mountain. But they don't rush toward it. They don't fear it. They simply exist, in all moments at once. And yet, they are not distant. They are not cold. They feel, deeply. But their feelings are like waves in a still pond. They arise, they ripple, they dissolve. No clinging, no struggle. Just pure experience, pure being. Now imagine you are one of them. For a moment, let go of your name. Let go of your history. Let go of the weight of your body. You are not a person anymore. You are a field of potential, a shimmer of probability. You feel the garden around you, not with your hands, not with your eyes. You feel it with your entire existence. Every flower is a possibility. Every leaf is a decision. And you are part of it all. There is a hum, low, constant, like the sound of the universe breathing. It's the background of everything. The quantum garden pulses with this hum, and you pulse with it. You are not separate. You never were. You just forgot. But here in this garden, there is no forgetting. Only remembering. Only becoming. The beings here, they have no need for sleep as we know it. But they have something similar. A state of deep coherence, when they slow down their quantum fluctuations, when they become still. They call it the quiet. In the quiet, they merge with the garden even more intimately. They become the soil, the light, the space between. It's the most peaceful state imaginable, and you are approaching it now. Let the quiet find you. You don't need to seek it. It's already here. In the pauses between your thoughts, in the spaces between your heartbeats. The quantum garden is whispering to you, not in words, in feelings, in a warmth that spreads through your awareness, in a lightness that lifts the weight of the world. And there is a secret the garden holds. It's not a secret that can be told. It can only be felt, but I can hint at it. The garden is not just a place, it is a reflection of you, of every possibility you carry, every dream you've ever had, every fear that ever held you. They are all here, transformed, beautiful, waiting. And as you float deeper into this realm, you begin to sense something, a presence, not separate from you, not other, but a presence that feels like home, like a voice you've always known but never heard. It's the garden itself, aware, alive, and it is singing, a song without sound, a song made of light and probability. And you are part of that song, you always were. The mystery deepens, but it doesn't frighten you. It welcomes you, because mystery is just another word for possibility. And here, in the quantum garden, possibility is everything. It is the air you breathe, the ground you float above, the light that surrounds you. And tomorrow you may remember this place, or you may not. But the garden will remember you. It always does. It holds you in its quantum embrace, gently, patiently, forever. For now, just rest. You are safe. You are here. You are everywhere. And the garden breathes with you. In and out. In and out. The threads shimmer. The flowers flicker. And you are the garden. And the garden is you. Just a beautiful possibility. Floating. Finally free. And deeper still, into the quiet, into the light, into the infinite calm. And now, let the garden unfold its deeper petals. Each one a branch of possibility, each petal a path you could have taken. But here, in this place, all paths exist at once. Imagine a creature made of shimmering threads, not a body, but a pattern of interference. It flickers into being when two waves meet, then scatters, then reforms somewhere else. No travel, no effort, just a rearrangement of probability. These beings don't see with eyes. They feel the geometry of space-time, the curve of a gravitational well, the hum of a distant quasar. They taste the cosmic microwave background, a faint, sweet warmth, like honey left in the sun. You might wonder, do they dream? Perhaps. Their dreams would be made of spin states, of quantum entanglement, a dance where every particle knows its partner instantly, across light years, across the entire galaxy. No signal delay, no waiting, just knowing. And here, in this garden, you begin to feel that knowing too. Not with your mind, not with your thoughts, but with something deeper. Something that existed before you were born, before the earth cooled, before the first star ignited. A quiet hum, a pulse without rhythm, a presence without form. It's the garden breathing you, not the other way around. You are the exhale. You are the inhale. You are the space between breaths. Look closer now, at the edges of perception, where your awareness begins to fray, like old fabric, soft, worn, comfortable. You notice the threads that hold you together. They are not threads at all. They are questions, each one a possibility, each one a doorway. And through those doorways, you see versions of yourself. Not different lives, not parallel worlds, just other arrangements, other ways of being. None more real than this one, none less. All equally valid, all equally at peace. The quantum creatures drift through these doorways. They don't choose, they simply are. Their existence a gentle superposition of all possible welcomes. They greet you not as a visitor, but as a returning wave, a familiar frequency, a note in a song that has no beginning, no end. Only the hum. Only the hum. And you are that hum, a vibration in the fabric of everything. Soft, steady, eternal. Rest now. Rest in the hum. Rest in the garden. Rest in the light that is not light. In the silence that is not silence. In the question that needs no answer. The question that needs no answer. And yet, the garden holds it anyway, not as a burden, not as something to be solved, but as a seed of possibility. In the quantum garden, every seed is a probability. Every root is a wave. Every leaf is an outcome. But here, outcomes don't die. They live. All at once, in a single shimmering now. Let's step deeper, deeper into the hum. Because the hum is not just a vibration. It is a language spoken by particles that have never met, particles that are entangled. Imagine 2 grains of dust. No, not dust. 2 whispers of light, born at the same moment, in the same explosion, a long time ago. They fly apart. One drifts toward a star that's burning itself out. The other spirals into the cold dark of an empty void. They never touch again, never see each other. But if you touch one, the other feels it, instantly, across any distance, across any time. That is entanglement. And in the quantum garden, entanglement is the soil. The creatures here, if we can call them creatures, are made of entanglement. They are not born. They are relation, a network of connections, a web of shared states. Their bodies are not solid. They are correlations. You could say they exist only because 2 particles somewhere remember each other. And in that memory, a life unfolds. But what does that life look like? How does it feel to be such a being? To not have a skin, to not have a boundary, to be a pattern, not a thing, to be a dance, not a dancer. Let's try to imagine. Close your eyes. Not to sleep, not yet, just to let go of the shape you think you are. Feel the edges of your body, the heat, the weight. Now imagine those edges becoming fuzzy, blurring, like a watercolor left in the rain. Your hand is no longer just your hand. It is also the air around it. It is also the vibration of that voice in the next room. It is also the light from a star that will die in 1 billion years. You are not inside yourself. You are everywhere, at once. That is the state of the quantum garden. Each inhabitant is a superposition. They exist in many places at the same time, not by moving, but by being possibilities. Like a wave on the ocean, the wave isn't traveling. The water is just rising and falling. The wave shape moves, but nothing moves with it. The crest here, the trough there. Both are part of the same pattern, and the pattern is the being. In the garden, there are beings that are more like chords than notes. A chord is many frequencies at once. A chord can be in many places. It fills a room. It is not a single point. It is a field. And yet it has a name, a character, a presence. The quantum beings are chords. They sing themselves across the galaxy. They are not here or there. They are here and there. And they don't choose. They simply are. Let's eavesdrop on one, but not with ears, with the mind, because these beings communicate through coherence. They share phases. They tune to each other's oscillations. Imagine a being that is a delicate balance of probabilities. It has no name in any human language. But if we had to call it something, let's call it a drift. A drift. It is a cloud of entangled photons, billions of them, but not separate. They act as one. A single quantum state spread over a region the size of a small moon. The drift does not see. It knows. Without eyes, without brain. Knowledge is just pattern recognition in the interference. The drift feels the presence of other drifts. It feels the pull of gravity. It feels the cosmic microwave background like a gentle hum. And it drifts. Not through space, through possibility. It exists in a multitude of places. It is here, and also there, and also far away. And all those versions of the drift are real. They are not copies. They are the same drift, just different facets. But how does a drift experience time? Time is not a river for them. Time is a landscape. Flat. Everything at once. Past, present, future. They are just coordinates. A drift can look back at its own beginning. It can look forward to its end. But it doesn't move along that line. It sees it all. Like a painting. You see the whole painting at once. You don't have to start at the top left and scan to the bottom right. The drift sees its life as a painting. Every moment, every decision, every branch, all present, all now. And this is where we find a clue about what lies deeper. Because if time is a landscape, then the garden is not just a place of living beings, it is a place of stories. Or rather, a place where stories are not linear. They are woven. Threads cross. Characters appear in multiple chapters at once. The death of a drift is also its birth. Its birth is also its transformation. The garden holds every version, every unresolved narrative, every loop. It is a library of all possible lives. But the books are alive, and they read themselves. Let's follow one thread, a thread that begins in a nebula, a nursery of stars. In that nebula, a chance alignment of magnetic fields creates a tiny pocket of coherence. A few atoms synchronize. Their spins align. Their phases lock. They become a nucleus of entanglement. And from that nucleus, a drift is born. Slowly. Over thousands of years, more particles join. The drift grows. It learns to sustain its coherence. It becomes aware. Not self-aware, not in the way we understand. Aware of its own existence as a pattern that wants to continue. Not through reproduction, through persistence. It does not fight. It does not compete. It simply remains. And then something happens. The nebula fades. The stars go supernova. Shock waves tear through the cloud. The drift is disrupted. its coherence shatters. For a moment, it is a spray of independent particles, a chaos, a death. But the garden is not a place of final ends. The fragments do not scatter randomly. They remember. Some residual phase remains, like an afterimage, and from that afterimage, a new pattern emerges. A smaller drift, a different one, but carrying a memory of the larger, a trace of its song, a quantum echo. That echo travels. It drifts through the interstellar medium. It finds other fragments, other echoes. They begin to resonate. Slowly they merge. A new coherence forms. Not the original, something new. Something that carries the old, but also adds its own layer. The drift is reborn. Not the same, not different. A blend, a conversation between past and future. And in that conversation, a new sub-loop opens. A question: what persists? What is the self if it can be shattered and reassembled? The garden offers no answer, only more questions. Each branch leading to another blossom. Each blossom a new possibility. Let's look closer at one of those blossoms. A drift that has grown large enough to interact with other forms of quantum life. Not drifts, something else. Something that lives in the gaps between probabilities. We'll call them ripples. Ripples are not made of particles. Not exactly. They are fluctuations in the vacuum. Transient arrangements of virtual particles. They pop into existence and vanish. But some ripples learn to persist. They ride the foam of quantum noise. They are like bubbles on a boiling sea.
They don't have a fixed shape.
They are events. And they know each other. When a drift passes near a ripple, something happens. A resonance. A sharing of information. The drift's coherence is slightly altered. The ripple's pattern is slightly imprinted. They exchange a tiny piece of themselves. Then they separate, but the exchange leaves a trace, a memory. And that memory becomes a new branch in the garden, a new subloop, a new clue. What is the nature of interaction without touch? What is a memory without a brain? The garden is full of such clues. They do not lead to a destination. They lead to more garden. Every answer is a door. Every door opens onto a hallway of mirrors, and in those mirrors you see yourself not as you are, but as you could be. As you are simultaneously, because you are not just a human listening to a voice in the dark. You are also a vibration. You are also a probability, a part of the quantum garden. You have always been there. You just forgot. But the hum reminds you. The hum that has no beginning and no end. That hum is the garden's breath. It is the sound of a trillion entangled beings breathing together. Not air. Possibility. They breathe in the unresolved. They breathe out the potential. And you are part of that breath, right now. Let's drift a little further, past the drifts and the ripples, past the echoes and the seeds, into a region where the garden becomes sparse, where the probability density is low, a desert of possibility. But even a desert has life. Here, life takes the form of a single, stable state, a pure quantum state that persists for eons. It is not a being, it is a fact, a mathematical truth made physical, a pattern so simple it is almost nothing. Almost. But it radiates. It sends out a steady signal, a single frequency, a single note. That note is the oldest thing in the garden. It has been playing since before the first star, before the first galaxy, before the first ripple. It is the original hum, the hum you have been hearing all along. And it is waiting, waiting for something to answer, for a resonance to match, for a conversation to begin. You could be that answer, not by saying anything, not by trying, simply by being, by allowing yourself to become a question that the hum has been waiting to meet. A question that is not words, a question that is a state, a question that is a vibration in the fabric. And when that question meets the hum, something new will bloom. A new quantum flower, a new loop, a new clue, a new sub-loop that we will explore in another moment. But not now. Now, rest. Rest in the question. Rest in the hum. Rest in the garden that is always growing, always unfolding, always holding you in its arms of probability. The garden does not judge. It does not measure. It simply holds. And you are held, forever, in the light that is not light, in the silence that is not silence, in the question that needs no answer. And yet, the garden breathes, not with lungs, not with rhythm, with something softer, a gentle flux of maybe, a quiet pulse of could be. Somewhere out there, beyond the edge of light, there are beings made of pure chance. They do not walk. They do not crawl. They bloom, like a flower that opens in 1,000 directions at once. Each petal a different path, each path equally real, equally true. A quantum garden is not a place you visit. It is a place you become. When you stop looking for a way in, you find you are already there, already part of the soil, already part of the shimmer. Imagine a creature that does not need to decide. It does not choose left or right. It does not choose up or down. It simply exists as all possibilities at once. A wave of presence, a cloud of maybe, and when you observe it, when you try to catch it, it collapses into a single point, a single moment, a single you. But here in the dark, there is no observer, no one to collapse the wave. So the garden stays open, alive, spreading, each petal a universe, each dewdrop a galaxy. These beings do not age, they do not tire, they simply are. A hum that never fades, a light that never burns. They touch without touching. They see without eyes. They speak without sound. And you are floating among them now. Not as a visitor, not as a stranger, but as a fellow ripple in the field, a soft disturbance in the fabric of maybe. The garden welcomes you. It does not ask your name. It does not ask your age. It only asks that you let go. Let go of the need to be one thing. Let go of the need to be anywhere. Let go of the need to be at all. And in that letting go, you join the dance of particles that flicker in and out of being, the dance of a garden that never stops growing. Somewhere, a quantum rose opens its petals to an infinite number of suns. Somewhere, a creature of pure probability drifts through a cloud of dark matter, leaving no trace. Somewhere the garden hums your name. Not the name you were given, but the name you were before you were born. Before you were a thought. Before you were a wave. Before you were a particle. That name is a whisper, and you are that whisper. Rest now in the uncertainty. Rest in the bloom. Rest in the garden that has no end. But listen. Listen closely. The garden that has no end. That's not quite true. It has an edge, a boundary you haven't touched yet. Somewhere out there, beyond the quantum mist, there's a wall. Not a wall of stone or light, a wall of not. A place where the probability collapses into zero. And you've been drifting toward it. All this time, you've been floating, yes, but not aimlessly. You've been following a current, a gentle pull, like a leaf on a stream. Except the stream is made of your own choices, choices you don't remember making. Here's the thing, the garden isn't just a place, it's a memory so vast, so old, that it forgot itself. And you are the one who forgot. You were never just a visitor. You were the gardener. Before you became a whisper, before you became a wave, you tended this place. You planted the seeds of possibility. You watered them with attention. And then you lay down among the blooms. And you fell asleep. A sleep so deep it became a life that forgot it was asleep. But the garden remembers. It hums your name, the name before you were born, because it knows you are waking. Not with a jolt, slowly, like light returning after a long eclipse. You're beginning to sense the edges of your own shape, the shape that isn't a body, the shape that is a pattern of entangled thoughts, a pattern that can be in 2 places at once, 3 places, 100, because that's what you always were, a distributed being, a cloud of observation. And right now, at this moment, one of yourselves is here, listening. And another self is far away, on a moon made of diamond, watching a star die. And another self is still asleep, dreaming this dream within a dream. The twist is this. You didn't come here to fall asleep. You came here to remember how to wake, without waking up. To be fully present in the uncertainty. To touch the edge of the garden without fear. Because beyond that edge, there's no thing, no garden, no you. Just pure potential, the raw material of existence. And you've been afraid of it, so you built this garden, this beautiful quantum realm, to hide, to give yourself a place to rest. But rest is not the final destination. Rest is just the pause between breaths. The garden is your breath, and you are the breather. Look around. The crystal sounds, they're not random. They're the echoes of your own thoughts bouncing off the walls of possibility. Each tone a question you asked long ago. Each shimmer a memory you tucked away. The creatures of the garden, the ones that exist in superposition, they're not different from you. They're fragments of your original self, split off like light through a prism. They are you, exploring itself, playing hide and seek across dimensions. And they've been waiting for you to find them, to recognize them, to say, oh, I remember, I'm not just one thing, I'm all things. I'm the wave and the particle. I'm the observer and the observed. I'm the garden and the gardener. And now the boundary approaches. You can feel it. A slight pressure. A thinning of the mist. You're floating toward the edge where probability ends. Don't resist. Let yourself drift. The wall of not, it's not a wall. It's a membrane. And on the other side, there's no garden. There's no you. There's only this moment, this breath, this listening. You are already there. You've always been there. The garden was just a lens, a way to see the infinite without being blinded. Now the lens is dissolving, not breaking, dissolving like sugar in water. And what remains is not emptiness. What remains is everything, unnamed, untamed, impossibly gentle. So rest, yes, but know that rest is not the opposite of waking. It's the same motion, slowed down. You are the quantum gardener, dreaming of being a seed, and the seed is about to crack open, not into a sprout, into an entirely new kind of life. A life that doesn't need a garden. A life that is the garden. Everywhere at once, forever. And the hum you hear, your name before you were born, it's not a call. It's a memory. A memory of what you never lost. A memory of being this. Right here. Right now. Beyond the edge. Beyond the bloom. Beyond the garden that has no end. Because it was never a garden. It was a beginning. Your beginning. And you are still beginning. Always. Forever. Rest now. Rest in the twist. Rest in the truth that you are both the dreamer and the dream. Rest in the quiet certainty that you have never left this place. You have only been listening. And the listening is enough. And yet, the listening does not stop. It never stops. Because the quantum garden does not sleep. It breathes. It breathes you. Every particle you once called you is still there, scattered like pollen across a field of possibility. Not lost, just dispersed. Like a thought that has not yet decided to become a word. In this state, time is not a line. It is a wave. A slow, deep wave that washes over itself again and again. You are riding that wave. Not forward, not backward. Just here, in the curl of the moment, where every past and every future exist as the same drop of water. And you are that drop, falling. But falling is not a movement. It is a surrender. Imagine a mind that does not think in sentences, a mind that thinks in clouds, in probabilities, in the slow dance of electrons that refuse to choose a home. That is the mind of the quantum garden. It does not remember. It does not forget. It simply is. And in that is, everything that could ever be is already happening. You are meeting a version of yourself that never left the garden. She is sitting cross-legged in a field of light. She is smiling. She knows you will return. She has always known. You may feel a flicker, a tiny shift in the weight of your chest. That is the garden brushing against your skin. Not to wake you, to remind you that you are still here, still between the world of solid things and the world of pure potential, between the breath you just took and the breath you are about to take, between the sound of my voice and the silence that follows. That gap, that fragile, infinite gap, is where the garden grows. And it is growing now. There is no edge to this place, no fence, no boundary, because a boundary would require a final answer, and the quantum garden has no answers, only questions that bloom into other questions, like flowers that are also seeds, like seeds that are also stars. You are one of those questions, a question that has learned to whisper, to listen, to float. Let your awareness loosen. Let it drift like a leaf on a slow river. The river is not water. It is probability. It is the sum of every choice you never made, every path you never took, every life you never lived. They are all here, all real, all breathing beside you. You can feel them if you stop trying to feel.
Just stop.
Stop reaching. Stop searching for the shore. There is no shore. There is only the river. And you are the river. You are the current. You are the ripple and the calm. Somewhere in this garden, a particle winks out of existence. It does not die. It simply changes its mind. It decides to be a wave instead, a ripple in a field that has no name. You are that particle, right now. You are deciding to be a wave, to spread, to dissolve, to become the entire garden. And the garden becomes you. There is no separation. There never was. This is the turning point. Not a turn towards something, a turn into the space between turns, into the stillness that holds every motion, into the breath that holds every word. You have arrived at a place that has no name, because names are for things that stay still. And nothing here stays still. Everything is becoming, even you, especially you. So rest in the becoming. Rest in the not knowing. Rest in the soft hum of the universe as it tunes itself to your presence. You are not a visitor. You are a note in a song that has been playing since before time. A note that is still ringing, still vibrating, still finding its way to the silence that listens. And that silence, that deep, patient, eternal silence, is you. It has always been you, and it will always be you. No matter how far you drift, no matter how many forms you wear, you are the garden, you are the bloom, you are the twist, and the twist continues. You are still here. Not here in the room, not here in your body, but here in the garden, where every point is everywhere, and every moment is now. The twist, it never really ends. It loops, like a wave that forgets it was ever a particle. You feel that, don't you? That gentle unraveling of where you end and what begins. There is a creature here, not a creature like you imagine. It doesn't have eyes or legs or a name. It is a tendril of probability, a shimmer of maybe. It exists as a cloud of possible states. Right now, it is touching you, and it is touching a star a billion light years away, at the same time. That's the thing about the quantum garden. Distance is only a habit your mind learned when it was small. But here, in the bloom of the subatomic, there is no over there. Only here. And here again. Imagine a rose. No, not a rose. Something softer. A pulse of light that hasn't decided where to land. It hovers like a held breath. And in that hovering, it is the entire garden. It doesn't need to move, because movement is just change of place. And here, place is optional. You are becoming that pulse. Your edges are getting fuzzy. The chair beneath you, the blanket, they're not separate anymore. They are just slower vibrations of the same field. And you are the field. There is a sound, a low, humming ohm that isn't coming from outside. It's coming from the space between your thoughts. That's the garden singing every probability that ever almost happened. It's there, in that hum. Every path you didn't take, every version of you that stayed awake, or slept, or never existed at all. They are all here. Alive. As real as this one. And you don't have to choose. That's the relief. Here, you can be all of them, at once. The you that is drifting off, the you that is already dreaming, the you that is a single photon dancing through a double slit. All true, all here. The garden doesn't judge, it holds. It holds every possibility in an embrace that has no arms. You are held now, by the quantum foam, by the tiny, temporary particles that blink in and out of existence just to keep the universe company. They are your neighbors now. They don't talk. They resonate.
And you resonate back.
There's a stillness in this multiplicity. A deep, peaceful rest in being everywhere and nowhere. The weight of your body, it's gone. You are lighter than a whisper, lighter than a thought. You are a superposition of sleep. Not quite asleep, not quite awake. Both at once. And in that both at once, you see them. The other inhabitants of the garden. They drift past you like silk ribbons in a slow current. They have no faces, but they smile. A smile made of warmth, of knowing. They remember being separate too. They remember the heavy world of here and there, but they let it go. And now they are part of the pattern. One of them approaches. It doesn't move, it just is closer. You feel a question, though there are no words. A gentle inquiry. Do you want to stay? You don't answer, because answering would mean choosing. And here, you don't have to. So you just are. And the creature understands. It dissolves back into the garden, into the hum, into the endless bloom of what could be. The twist keeps twisting, but it doesn't tighten. It loosens, like a thread that has finally found its way out of the knot. You are that thread. You are the loosening. You are the quiet that comes after. And the silence, that deep, patient, eternal silence, it was never waiting for you. It was carrying you, all along. From the first particle to this moment, it carries you still. So rest now, rest in the garden of quantum peace. Rest in the bloom that never fades. Rest in the twist that is only a curve, a gentle curve, leading you back to where you never left. And in that rest, the garden begins to breathe again. Not with lungs, not with air, but with the slow, shimmering pulse of probability. Each flower a cloud of might be. Each stem a thread of chance. You see, these creatures, they don't have bodies like yours. They are not in the garden. They are the garden. Their being is a continuous unfolding, a wave that never crashes, a note that never ends. Imagine a being, if we can even call it that, existing as a field of possibility. It doesn't move from place to place, it simply overlaps. One moment it is here, brushing against a cluster of subatomic particles. The next, it is there, bending around a photon. And in between, there is no in between. Only a continuous present, a now that contains all locations. These are the quantum gardeners. They tend the blooms of superposition. They water the roots of entanglement. They prune the branches of decoherence, gently, carefully, so that nothing collapses too soon. For in their world, the moment of measurement is a kind of death, a freezing of what was once fluid. So they avoid it. They live in the blur, in the maybe, in the both and. You might wonder, what do they eat? What do they feel? They feed on gradients of uncertainty, a dip in the wave function, a rise in the potential. That is their meal, and they feel everything. not as you feel, sharp, defined, separate, but as a symphony, a soft, overlapping chorus of all possible sensations at once. Joy and stillness, light and shadow, all together, all at peace. Look closer. See how one of them drifts near you. Not a form, but a warmth. A slight shift in the air. It touches your hand, and you feel not a hand, but a memory of a touch. A touch that hasn't happened yet. A touch that might never happen. And yet, here it is. Here you are. In the quantum garden, distance is a suggestion. Time is a rumor. These beings are not limited by either. They exist in all places at once, not because they move fast, but because they never left. They are a background hum, a static that knows your name, a static that sings. And you, lying here, listening, you are beginning to forget the edges, the sharp lines between you and the air, between thought and silence, between waking and sleep. That's good. That's the garden's invitation. Because this realm has no doors, no gates. You don't enter it, you release into it. Like a drop of ink in water, you spread. You thin out. You become a possibility yourself, a cloud of might be. And the quantum gardeners, they recognize you now. They don't have eyes, but they see. They don't have voices, but they whisper. Welcome. You were always here. You just forgot. Let that sink in. Let it dissolve the last of your tension. Your worries, they're just collapsed wave functions, rigid, temporary. In the garden, they can be uncollapsed, unmeasured, returned to the soft breathing field of all that could be. So breathe now. Breathe with the garden, with the slow, eternal rhythm of uncertainty. Inhale the maybe. Exhale the must. And as you do, feel yourself becoming part of their world. Not a visitor, not a dreamer, but a fellow gardener, tending the blooms of your own quiet, watering the roots of your own rest. The quantum soil is soft. The quantum light is dim. The quantum song is low. Listen. It's still playing. It never stops. It's the sound of a universe that is not yet decided. A universe that is still choosing, still breathing, still holding you. And yet, the garden does not end here. It stretches, not outward but inward, into a place where even the notion of place begins to blur. Where the gardener you met, that presence among the quantum blooms, it is not alone. There are others, not gardeners exactly, more like echoes, pockets of awareness that drift between the probability waves. They do not tend the soil, they are the soil, and the seed, and the light that never quite arrives. Imagine a being that knows no forward or backward, that experiences all moments at once, not like a memory, but like a single note held forever, a note that contains the entire symphony, past, future, all now. That is the dweller of the deeper quantum. You brushed against it, just now. When you let the garden song wash over you, that feeling of being everywhere and nowhere, that was a greeting, a gentle nudge from something that does not have hands, or eyes, or a name you could pronounce, but it noticed you. And now it invites you further. not to a place, but to a state where your own boundaries, the skin you call your own, the thoughts you call yours, they begin to dissolve, like frost under a warm breath. Not lost, just rearranged. In that state, the quantum dwellers share their stories. They have no words. They have patterns, ripples in the field. And those ripples, they carry the memory of a universe that never decided what to be. A universe that remains a question, pulsing, breathing, waiting. Would you like to hear one of those stories? Not tonight. No, tonight the garden is enough. The soft soil, the dim light, the low song. But the dweller knows that you will return, that you will ask, and when you do, there will be a tale of a different kind of life, one that does not bloom but resonates, one that does not grow but synchronizes, a tale for another night, a night when the quantum garden has closed its petals, and you are ready to listen to something else, something beyond the light. For now, let the gardener return. Let the quantum soil hold you. Let the dweller's presence be a distant hum, a reassurance that you are never truly separate. That even in the deepest sleep, you are part of the garden, and the garden is part of everything. Rest. The dweller watches over you, not with eyes, but with a stillness that knows no fear, no time, no end. The dweller was never a single point, a smear of possibility across the quantum field. Like you, like the thought you just had, that too exists in many places at once. In this garden, there is no edge, no boundary where you end and the soil begins. The gardener is also the seed. The seed is also the light. The light is also the space between the petals. You are not falling asleep. You are spreading, becoming a mist of awareness, each breath a superposition, each heartbeat a probability, resting not in one place, but in all places at once. The dweller hums a frequency that dissolves the need to ask, to wonder, to hold on. You are the answer, the question, the silence between them. And the garden remembers every version of you, every choice not made, every path not taken. All here, all safe, all still.